Hi, and welcome to another TERN skills session. Today's session, as most of you will know, is about market research using advanced Google search and AI tools, namely Bard and Bing AI. And today we will be learning how to use advanced Google search. We will learn how to use Bard, both in searching, researching, and also using it to problem solve and create content. And we'll also be using Bing AI search. Now, all of these are, I know the terms are quite a mouthful, but it's all a lot more simple than I make it sound right now. So I'll promise, stick with me, and we'll learn how to use all of these tools. Almost everybody here has at the very least heard the name Google. Google is our gateway to the internet. It's how we find things on the World Wide Web. But what most people don't realize is that Google is so much more than that. But before we get into the deeper side of Google, we're going to discuss what are the things that Google can do. So Google helps point us towards the right resources so that we can find the information that we need. Because the internet is a vast place. It's full of information. So finding something specific can be as difficult as looking for a needle in a haystack. And secondly, Google ranks websites based on popularity and relevancy to our query, to what we're searching for. So every time you look for something on Google, the first options that you see on the page are usually the most relevant to the topic or the sentence that you have put in the search input. And that's a way for us to make it easier for us to find what we need faster. And it also corrects for common mistakes. So if you have a little typo when you search something in Google, it usually has a little correction up there saying, hey, like, I think you meant this other thing. And I've brought the results that are relevant to that thing that I think you've made a mistake in typing. So it does little corrections for us to make our life easier. But there are some things that Google does not do, and those include analyzing and kind of verifying informations that are on the websites that it shows us. So Google ranks these websites based on a variety of factors, but none of them include verifying information on these websites. So all the data that's there, any link that you click on through Google hasn't checked to make sure the answers that these websites have given to questions are actually 100% correct. So it's up to us to look through these results on Google, find the information that we need, and verify whether those informations are right and useful for us or not. Second thing that Google does not do, it does not understand language. So Google looks at language the same way that we look at objects, right? Somebody shows you an apple and tells you, go find me an apple. You will go and find stuff that look similar to the apple and bring them back and be like, hey, is this an apple? But it might be a pear because it's round and it's colored red and you might think it's an apple. You don't understand on a deeper level what that apple is, the same way that Google in this example doesn't understand what language is. It doesn't understand what we mean or the context behind our sentences. So that's one of the shortfalls of Google, which has been improved on in the recent AI models, which we're going to go in deeper later on. The last thing, Google doesn't always get it right, especially most likely on the first try. So when you're looking for information on Google, sometimes if it's a simple thing, you might be able to find the answer you're looking for pretty straight away. But most often, more often than not, it will take you a few tries to find the information that you're looking for. So you have to search for something and then look at the results. And is that any similar to what it is you're looking for? Is that the information you're after? If yes, great. If not, then you need to go back to the search bar and try something else. So try asking Google differently what it is that you're after. Now, this is the obvious search part of the Google, what almost everyone is familiar with. Is a standard Google homepage, and you put in sentences and it shows you all the relevant stuff. But the deeper side of the Google is called advanced search. These are a series of ways for us to narrow down our search, to really get down to the nitty-gritty of our search, to limit the results that Google finds for us. So the more information we input here, the fewer the results that Google brings up. And also, most likely, the more accurate and relevant to what it is that we're looking for. So once you go into advanced search, it's going to look like this. This is the page you see. And the first most important thing is the exact word or phrase. So on Google, you can, if you put any word or phrase into this text box, it will only show you results that 100% have that phrase inside of them. If they don't include that word that you put into this box, it excludes those links from your viewing, so you don't see them. The next one is language. So if you're looking in languages outside of English, you're able to filter them down here. So for example, I was researching for some recipes in Persian food. And one of the best things that Google helped me with was being able to filter it down. So only results from Persian websites showed up. And you can apply this to any language. The next one is you can refine your search by defining the region in which you're doing your searching in. So if you're looking, for example, if you're doing market research for a business in England and you want to exclude other countries, you can choose England in this part and be like, all right, I'm only interested in results that are based in the UK. And it will actually go out and do that and bring you all the results that are relevant for you. And another option is how you can refine is to get the most recent information, to get the most up-to-date data, because this is quite important in a lot of cases for a lot of reasons. But one of the main ones is, especially if you're doing business research, first of all, you want to have access to the latest data. So if you're looking at your market size, if you're looking at how the most recent trends are, you're interested in what's happening in the past year tops. You're not looking at like what the trends in the food and beverage industry was 10 years ago, unless you're doing like historical research. So here you can choose to only find results within a specific time frame or most recently. Another cool feature is that it lets you pick a website, like a website address, you put it into the box, and you've put other words into, so for example, exact phrases, and it will only show you the pages of that specific website that contain that keyword that you've put in. So this is great for when you're looking for something specific in a competitor's website, for example. So if you want to do a Google search that's only looking at a specific website, this is the option to use. And last but not least, also another very good feature for doing research is you can define the file type that you're looking for in Google Advanced Search. For example, you can ask it to only show you PDF documents on the web that have a specific word inside of them. So statistical data on market size, and then you can refine it by region as well and make it like UK specific, and then get really accurate research papers using this tool. And yeah, that's pretty much advanced search in a nutshell. The best way to kind of like learn how to use it is by trying it. So I'm going to give you some top tips. We want to, when you want to research on Google, you want to use keywords. So keywords are specific phrases that are not necessarily a single word. They can be multiple words, but they refer to something specific. So an example of this would be if you were looking for a jacket, you could refine it and turn it into a keyword by saying leather jacket for men. And this would make it a keyword that would instantly bring up a lot of relevant results for you. The second one is to always check when you're searching on Google, when was a piece of information that you're looking at published? Because you always want to have the most recent information available, and make sure that you're using the most recent information in your research. So any websites you visit, any articles you go and read through, make sure to check when it was published, when was it posted or last updated. Next would be to evaluate the website credibility. So there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, and it can quite quickly become very difficult to make sense of what is right and what is correct and what is information that you can actually rely on. One of the ways to do this is to checking for multiple different sources. So if you find an article that says, oh, like your industry is worth $10 billion a year in the UK or in America, and you want to make sure that that information is correct, you want to make sure that the source you're getting that from is credible, because then if you go and use that in your business and tell your investors this is how much our industry is worth, you need to make sure that you're using credible sources and double checking your sources and verifying it against other sources. So going to different websites and comparing the sizes that they're saying an industry is and see what the common consensus is. That's generally the most efficient way of analyzing this. And, always to look at making sure that, the source that is giving you a piece of information, make sure that you can actually go and verify this from a different source that also is talking or saying the same thing, to make sure that your information is reliable. And you also want to record and credit the sources that you use when you do any research, especially if you're using this for your pitch deck or your presentations to business partners or potential investors. You always want to ensure that you have accurate and reliable information, because that is very important. And with that being said, we're gonna start the first breakout room. We're gonna do 5 tasks. The first one is we want to do a search on Google Advanced Search by date. And we're going to make sure that our information that we're finding or the information that we're looking at are actually recent. And the second task in the breakout room is we want to search using exact phrases. So this is something that can be related to your business, or if there's another topic that you want to do research on, you can find keywords that are related to it and then do an exact phrases match search on advanced Google search. And then we're going to do a search on a specific website. So this is when you pick a website and you give it to Google and tell Google, I'm looking for leather jacket for men, but only from this website. Do they sell it here? And Google will only look at that specific website. And the task for 4 is we want to find a PDF file. So for example, for this one, you could look at industry data or information from your industry. And once you find that PDF document, you can save it and use it later and use it in your research. And for the 5th one, we're going to define our search and limit it even further by adding language, a specific language and a specific region to it. We want to talk about Bard and Bing AI, which you may have heard of. I'm pretty sure almost everyone possibly has heard of ChatGPT already. To give you a quick explanation, Bard is Google's version of ChatGPT, very similar, but also quite different in capabilities. But Bard is completely free to use, and it's a great tool to use both for research and also for other things. And the first thing that I would like to tell you more about in regards to these tools are what are they capable of. So quite simply put, these are knowledge machines. These are very, very sophisticated algorithms that have been given a tremendous amount of data and information. They have been fed every piece of human knowledge that exists on the internet. there is not one topic that these machines don't know about. Um, and, and so in a lot of ways, they are basically machines that we can talk to and have a conversation with and ask questions or give them problems to solve. Which brings me up to my next point. The second biggest capability of these tools is in translation and content creation. So because of how good they understand the human language, you can ask them to translate from one language into another, or you can ask them to create entirely new and original pieces of content for you. A lot of the ways that this is being used right now is in creating articles, marketing emails, sales copy. I'm pretty sure almost 50% of LinkedIn posts right now are being made using tools like this. Basically, you can give it a topic that you want to talk about and tell it to write me an article about this topic, talking about 5 different areas or 5 different top things that you can do or learn about this specific topic. And it will write a very good and coherent article for you. And you can use that in any way that you can find in your imagination. And the next one is they are great tools for problem solving and also for communicating. You can give these tools, you can ask them questions about problems that you're facing. You know, I've seen people use them to find solutions to their business problems. For example, I think there was an article recently in the news where a business owner made one of these tools the company's CEO, and it would tell the AI machine the problems that it was facing in its business, and the AI machine would give solutions and he would go and apply those solutions. Now, that kind of use case is very sophisticated and takes a lot of practice to be able to do anything like that. But to get started with, you can use with very basic kind of like problems for it to solve. One of the things that, like, for example, you can use it with in communication is using it to write emails, so or customer service or customer support. So you have a customer who's very angry about an item that they bought from you, they want it refunded, and you don't know how to, you know, calm them down and make a very nice piece of email or message that you can send them. So you can ask these tools, hey, I have this customer in this situation, can you write me a reply that I can send to them to tell them that, you know, we know about the issue, we're on the case, and we're going to solve it soon. And it does absolutely brilliantly in situations like this, which is why now there are tools that use the same technology in different parts of our lives. And, you know, in the coming months, we're going to start seeing them pop up as, you know, very tightly knit assistants that any human can have. But that's let's not get too deep into that just yet. We're going to start with Google Bard and make our way into Bing later afterwards. It's quite important to kind of like try these for yourself hands-on, which is why we're going to spend most of this session in our breakout rooms getting personal and trying these tools firsthand. So the layout is very simple. These are very simple tools. You don't need to do a lot of things. You just need to sign up an account and you're good to go. One of the things that I usually tell people to do is just to say hi and introduce yourself. So I'm gonna introduce myself and say, hi, I'm Sam, what's your name? And the machine, this is an artificial intelligence. This is a computer replying to my messages, right? Which can be quite mind-boggling. I know I was quite awestruck with it for the first few months. You know, this is a computer telling me what it is. So it has a degree of kind of like a self-awareness, which is quite artificial. It's not quite a true intelligence just yet, but it is very powerful. Now, it can also give you, it also gave me an example of like the stuff that it can do. Now, for example, for today, one of the things that I wanted to demo to you guys is how you can combine the Google Bard with your normal Google search or your Bing search, which you're going to do later on. One of the cool things about Bard is that it has access to the internet. So it can actually bring up recent results and it can visit websites. And then I'm looking for, say, my business is I wanna make cakes and sweets for Persian style, and I found an option here called Tavazzo, and they're a Persian patisserie in London, and they have a website. So what you can do, this is one of my competitors for my hypothetical business, right? I can copy and paste their address. I want to start a Persian sweets business. This is one of my competitors. What can you tell me about them? And then copy and paste the link here and press enter. Now, it's going to take a few seconds, but Bard is going to go and visit the website and voila. Come and tell us a very quick information on the business. It's going to tell us that it's based in San Francisco, California. So you can see off the bat that it's not super accurate, right? So you can't rely 100% on everything that Bard gives you, but it does do very good in a lot of areas. And finding these limitations is very dependent on how you decide to use tools like this. And as you start to use them, you will come across limitations and quickly find your feet in the pool, so to speak. So another way that I really like to use Bard in is in content creation, which, if you remember, I mentioned a few minutes ago. So say I want to start this sweet shop business, and I'm working on making a website for my Persian sweets business. It's called Persian Sweets Now. And I'm going to ask Bard to give me a copy or a text for the About Us section of my website. Now, these are live demos, guys, so stuff goes wrong. I hope it does well. There we go. So yeah, so it created an About Us section for my business in very nice language. You know, it says, "Welcome to Persian Sweets Now, your one-stop shop for all things Persian sweets." And this is something that, you know, if I was making this website myself, I'm the kind of person that usually struggles with writing copy, especially like creative copy for my business. So I would be spending hours on doing the first draft of this, and now Bard has enabled me to do it in seconds. Now, what's even crazier, I can also switch my keyboard, and I'm gonna ask it in Farsi. I'm going to ask it in Farsi if it can translate the text above into Persian. Ooh. So it cannot apparently do that now, but it did do it a while ago. So that's another limitation that has been imposed on Bard, is that sometimes when you ask it to do things, it tells you that it cannot and is not able to do it.
Maybe Bing will be able to.
Yeah.
Sam, I asked the participants whether they had a query they wanted you to feed through Bard. Shall we try that? Does anybody have something on their mind they want to ask Bard right now? Sam will copy paste it in. Yeah, Fuad, you're smiling, so you're gonna have to do it. Okay, Fuad's working on it.
All right, so while Fuad does that, I'm just going to be like, can you translate this into Farsi for me?
Or vice versa, it's exciting as well, right? I find this tool is so exciting in terms of writing something in your first language, then letting it do some work in that language if you give it the right instruction, and then just copy pasting it, or even just writing message. Please just translate the above to perfect business English, and then you can give it additional instructions, make it friendly, professional, etc. It's so cool.
Yeah, we can try and do that now. So if we say this,
here comes a query from Fuad, FYI.
Has it arrived?
It has.
All right, let's do that. Can you create a list of trainings needed by charities that work with young people? There you go. Copy and paste. Right. Here are some trainings that charities that work with young people may need: child safeguarding, mental health, first aid, conflict resolution, diversity and inclusion, and professional development. So what do you think of this response? I'm quite curious.
I believe it's good, but like it scratched the surface. Like it's not like very professionalized, like, you know, but like it's pretty good. At least I can know what they learn, and I can go for, I think, for deeper one, for staff or capacity building or like something like that. However, I just want to see how that works.
It's like Russian dolls, isn't it? Sam, like taking that the bits from this query and bringing it back for more detail, asking more deep questions. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so there's as many ways to do this as there are humans on Earth, right? So one of the tips that I actually have for you guys later about this that I'm going to give you now is the more specific you get with what you feed these tools, the better the quality of the results that you actually get. So for example, if we were to improve on this and make it a little bit deeper, so that we can be more specific, maybe we can give it some examples of the type of training we're talking about. How would we be able to change this text that we're going to ask it? So working with young people and youth.
Maybe change the role to youth workers rather than the organization.
Oh, that would be a good one. Needed by youth workers at charities, right? So let's feed it that example and then see how that goes. So now it's talking about communication skills, and then it goes into explain a little bit more in detail what does that exactly mean. So once it gives you a result, then you can also keep going further into that result. So for example, I'm interested in conflict resolution. And then I can ask Bart to tell me more about that and how I can implement that in my business. So it's telling me what conflict resolution is and how it can help to understand the different types of conflict, identify the causes of conflict, build trust and rapport, find solutions that work for everyone involved, and how there are many ways to introduce conflict resolution training in our organization. And it's also giving us a few different ways we could implement this. So we could offer it as a mandatory training for our employees, which, you know, not everyone might be happy with. So, for example, the next thing that I'm going to ask Bart is, I would like to introduce it as a mandatory training for all employees. Can you suggest how best to give this news to the employees? So it says send an email to the employees and do the email, or do a town hall. So I quite like the email option. So I'm going to go, I would like to do it via email. Oh, no, it already also gave me an example of an email that I could send to employees down here. So Bard went ahead and went one step further and told me, if you want to do this and introduce this mandatory training to your employees, here's an example of an email that you could send. And the email is quite well written with kind of like placeholders that I can edit and improve and personalize it for myself and my business. And it's giving me that option. Yeah, I like it. It's breaking it down into bullet points, quite easy to read, easy to digest. It's quite friendly and gets across the reasons why we have to do this training, so that people will become invested in actually finishing this training. And yeah, that's kind of that's really a great tool, like in any sort of business situation. You know, oftentimes any kind of query that you have from real life and you kind of like put it into Bard and you don't get good results, you can keep asking it more questions. You can ask it to refine it itself, and it will actually help improve things a lot for you. Now, we worked with Google in the last breakout room, and you guys noticed straight off the bat that Bing is quite similar. It looks very similar to kind of the Google layout. You have a search bar here, which is how you search for things. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to try the normal search and kind of like ask it for, what was it? The Persian patisserie. And see what kind of results can it find for that. And here's some of the improvements that Bing has done in the last 6 months, which is the reason why we decided to have it in this session. The company behind Bing, as you may know, is Microsoft, and they're one of the big investors behind ChatGPT and the AI revolution, and they've introduced a lot of those technologies into their search engine on Bing. And one of these new changes is something called Bing Chat, which you can see up here, right underneath the search bar. Now, aside from improvements in the chat, like Bing tends to do it a lot better in terms of what it is that you're looking for. So it'll find resources on the right-hand side and list them all for you. It will give you a lot of suggestions into what are the other people asking, which is kind of similar to what Google used to do, but they've done it a lot better. So if you play with Bing a little bit, if you search on Bing for a while, try it for yourself, you will quickly notice that the search results on Bing are now of a much higher quality than Google's actually is. So if you go onto the chat part, and that's the exciting part of this new Bing revolution, it now has a chatting functionality similar to Bard and ChatGPT. And it's actually powered by ChatGPT's engine, GPT-4, which Microsoft is a big stakeholder in. So it took my search query and it put it into the search. It did an online search for it because, like Bard, Bing AI has access to the internet as well. And it found some information about a patisserie that is located in North London, making sangak, a very, very lovely kind of Persian bread. And oh, this place sounds really good. I'm getting hungry. But it's doing all of these it's doing all of the heavy lifting for you, right? Instead of you having to go down into the pages, looking at the options, opening a lot of tabs, and then manually searching through, reading every sentence to see if the information you're after is there. These AI tools are nitpicking it and then spoon feeding it to us, right? So it makes the searching process a lot faster. It found me a recipe. And another great thing about Bing AI versus Bard is that when you ask it for information, it also provides you with the resources that it has used to combine information from. And you can make sure that, you know, the information you're seeing here is actually correct and accurate from these links, instead of just having to trust that what the machine is saying is correct, which is a great distinction between the two. We're going to be searching keywords in Bing search, similar to what we just did with Fuad's query. We want to access and say hi to Bard, or you can also do it to Bing AI chat if you have time. And then next, we're going to ask these two, either of them, because they both can do it, to create a bit of text for us. Now, what kind of text or about what, I'll leave that up to you. And for the fourth task, we want to ask Bard to translate from one language to another. Now, when I tried the Persian to English or English to Persian in my demo, it said that it wasn't able to just yet. But these are functionalities that are being added to every day. So keep an eye out on it if you want to use these for translation. I'm pretty sure it's going to be soon where they add all languages to it. And lastly, I want you to ask either of them a question or give them a problem and ask for solutions. So maybe think about a business problem that you're having right now and you don't know how to deal with it, or how to fix it, or how to improve on something, and you're looking for advice. So ask these machines, ask these programs for help, and then see how they can help you. So be specific in your requests, provide examples, be patient with these tools. And, you know, don't give up after trying them for a couple of questions and then you go like, oh, it doesn't understand what it is that I want. Instead, try and rephrase what you're asking, try and put it in a different way, and you will get very different results each time. And last but most important, these tools allow us to be creative, and they can be quite fun to use. So, you know, get creative, have fun with them, and enjoy them. They can actually make life a lot easier in a lot of different areas. So we should take advantage of that, right? And I had a bonus tip for you, which is this, right? If you don't know what to ask any of these tools, either Bard or ChatGPT or Bing AI, you can ask them what to ask them. So you can ask Bard and tell Bard, what should I ask you if I wanted you to help me with a specific task, and then put the task in, whatever it is. And Bard will actually give you advice on how to, like, what kind of questions you can ask so that it gives you the answers that might be helpful to you. So if you want to learn something, if you want to do something and you don't know where to start, you can always ask them. One of the things that I tend to do a lot is creating mind maps and kind of like charts. So there's a prompt that you can use, which is this, and I'll post it. You can ask any of these AI systems. ChatGPT does it, so does Bard and Bing as well. You paste the prompt that I gave you, and the little part where it has a topic inside of a bracket, so delete that and insert any topic that you're interested in to make a mind map from. So for example, of corporate levels. And this asked the AI to create a mind map in a PlantUML format. Now, PlantUML is a specific format that is readable by computers, right? So the thing that it generates is not going to make a lot of sense for us, but you'll see what we're going to do with it in a second. So we're going to give it the prompt and then see what it generates. And then we're going to copy and paste what it's given us, the code snippets part. Go into this website called draw.io, and I'll pop that in the chat in a second as well. Here in this website, we're going to go to arrange from the menu, and then we're going to go into insert. And then at the very end of it, there is a section called advanced. And here we're going to select the PlantUML format. Once you click that, it's going to open up this new text box. Get rid of everything that's inside and paste what the AI system gave us. And then click insert. And it will quickly generate a model of, it's a mind map of all the different levels that exist in whatever topic you chose. I hope you've enjoyed the session today. I'm sorry we've run a couple of minutes over. Our next session is coming up on the 29th of this month, same time of day. This time we'll be going over Google Forms and how to use it for your business, how to use them to get feedback and capture leads. It's going to be a great session if you haven't used Google Forms before. It's very useful in many different areas of your business. And we actually use them to run these sessions for signups and feedbacks. The most important thing for us always to improve these sessions, to get better every session after the other one. And we do that by learning from you guys. What is it that you're interested in learning? What is it that we could do better in delivering these sessions? So please take out your phones or go to the link in the chat. Give us some feedback. We love feedback, good or bad. It all helps us learn and improve these sessions for you.